citizens invested. Subsequently, government carried out some financial sector cleanup exercise, and they recommended that a number of financial institutions be shut down, and Gold Coast was one of them. And government agreed that they will pay the investors. Mr. Chairman, the petitioners petitioned and requested for payments, but they were given partial payment under a partial bailout arrangement. Meanwhile, the government came to Parliament and requested for some allocations of funds, and Parliament approved those funds, and they reported to Parliament that all the funds they requested were provided, but the petitioners have not been paid. So I'm going to limit myself. I have so many documents, but I'm going to focus on just 3 documents. 2 relate to the presentation in Parliament by the Minister of Finance, the then Minister of Finance, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, and then also the Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business, who presented one of the mid-year reviews of the budget, and then the main budget, and then also a press release of the Securities and Exchange Commission. These 3 tell our story fully. So with your kind permission, I'll just make reference to those 3 documents. Yeah.
Honorable, a minute, please. Do you have a copy of those documents? It's only them. Okay. Okay, Honorable Ayaga, I know that you submitted a lot of documents to us, but the feeling here by the committee is that if you tender those documents, am I right? And if you tender them, if you don't mind to submit it to us again, so that it's what you have tendered that we'll have, not the previous information, because all the previous information you gave to us was background information. It's not part of the record. And
the documents, what we sent to you included these ones. But these are records of Parliament. These are your own records.
It doesn't matter. You don't want to assist us. We want to help.
No, we're happy to give you copies again. You. Yes, we're happy to tender the records. But these are your own,
it doesn't matter.
Records.
Yes, help us.
Okay. Thank you. So the first is the mid-year review of the budget statement 2020, which was presented to the House on 23rd July 2020 by the then Minister of Finance. And at column 88 of that statement, the Hansard captures the statement made by the Finance Minister when he said, Mr. Speaker, as stated earlier, the outbreak of the pandemic is having a negative impact on the financial sector here in Ghana and across the world. All over the world, central banks are being relied upon by governments to find the liquidity to tackle the socio-economic difficulties unleashed by the pandemic. The Bank of Ghana has stepped up to the challenge and announced various policy measures to help support the economy and financial institutions in order to cushion the adverse impact of COVID-19 on the economy. It is important to stress that this has been possible because of the responsible and competent management of both the fiscal and monetary space since 2017. As a result of mismanagement, depositors' funds had been locked up with no hope that these depositors could access their own funds. The authorities, with foresight and appreciation of the role of the banking financial sector to any economy, especially to all the engine of private sector, introduced painful but unavoidable reforms to clean up the mess inherited from the previous government. The timely intervention under this administration resulted in the saving of these locked-up funds in failed banks. This was a sobering but necessary action that in total is costing the state in excess of 21 billion Ghana cedis of taxpayers' money. These are funds that could have been otherwise deployed to support the development agenda of the government. Then he further added that, Mr. Speaker, as at the end of the first quarter of 2020, a total amount of 13.6 billion has been spent on the resolution of failed banks, specialized deposit-taking institutions, microfinance institutions, the establishment of the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, as well as the capitalization of the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. Mr. Speaker, additionally, with the President's directive to fully pay all depositors whose funds were locked up with the failed SDIs and MFIs, an amount of 5 billion was spent. This brings the total expenditure on financial sector interventions as at June 2020 to 18.6 billion. Government has also committed an amount of 3.1 billion towards supporting investors in failed asset management companies regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Speaker, this will bring the overall total government expenditure for the failed financial institutions to 21.60 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this is a legacy of financial enslavement from the previous administration. So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, these were the reported expenditures by government. Then in the the main 2021 budget, which was presented by the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Chairman Sir Bonsu, he also reported on the situation and said, and let me quote him at column 092 of the Hansard of that day, which is 12 March 2021, that, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce that the resolution of the banking industry has been completed. Government has been working to complete the bailout of the asset management industry through the provision of a bailout package for investors of the failed asset management companies. Out of an estimated amount of 8.5 billion to help pay investors of the failed asset management companies, this August House approved an amount of 3.1 billion in the 2020 mid-year budget. At the end of December 2020, government had provided an amount of 3.4 billion for the payment of validated claims to investors of 30 asset management companies for which liquidation orders were obtained. This amount was in a combination of a 3-year marketable bond of 2.5 billion Ghana cedis and a 5-year zero coupon bond of 915 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, for the Securities and Exchange Commission to fully settle investors of the remaining 17 asset management companies, an amount of 5.5 billion Ghana cedis is required. For this reason, we have come to this August House once again to seek for your approval to raise an amount of 5.5 billion in 2021 to complete the asset management industry bailout, including Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, now Blackshield Capital Management, First Bank Financial Services Limited, Liberty Asset Management, Beach Capital Asset Management, Ideal Capital Partners Limited, and Frontline Capital Advisors Limited. So, Mr. Chairman, the emphasis here is the fact that in the budget of 2021, Parliament was requested to approve 5.5 billion to complete the bailout, including, and Blackshield was specifically mentioned as one of those that they will pay once we gave them that approval. So we gave the approval, and we believe that they got the money. And what happened to Blackshield customers? They were paid part of their money. They were paid part of their money because they implemented a partial bailout program in which they gave between 10,000 and 50,000, 20,000.
No, from 0 to 50.
From 0 to 50,000. So all those who had their investments.
But you can't pay zero. From one can you pay zero?
From 1 to 50,000.
Yes.
So they paid that. They paid that, and then the investors complained. When the investors complained and raised some issues, the Securities and Exchange Commission put out a press release, and that's the last document that I want to present to you as part of your record. March 13th.
30th, 2025.
No, it's not March 30th. It's March 1st of March. It's signed. Oh, okay, okay, that's it. Well, so they presented a press release March 30th, 2023, and I just want to capture portions of the press release. Page 2 of the press release states that purported release of 5.5 billion approved by Parliament for Blackshield Gold Coast. The Securities and Exchange Commission has noted comments by representatives of Blackshield Gold Coast clients for the disbursement of the 5.5 billion Ghana cedis approved by Parliament, and wishes to clarify that the amount approved by Parliament was for all investors of the 45 companies that had claims by investors and not for Blackshield Gold Coast investors only. All investors with validated claims have therefore been contacted by Amalgamated Fund and GCB Capital Limited, the entities managing implementation of the bailout. The government has yet to release the full 5.5 billion to the implementing agencies of the bailout. The update received by the SEC from the implementing agencies of the bailout is that so far, 4.6 billion has been allocated as follows: 3.1 billion to Amalgamated Fund Tier 1 payments and 1.45 billion assigned to Amalgamated Fund Tier 2 payments. This disbursement includes the partial bailout program, which entailed the payment of a sum of up to 50,000 Ghana cedis to clients of Blackshield Gold Coast and other companies who had not received winding up orders from the court by October 2020, but whose claims had been validated. The total amount paid to Blackshield clients in the partial bailout is 1.34 billion Ghana cedis, covering a total of 73,541 claims. Out of this amount, a total amount of 757,539,141 Ghana cedis has been used to fully settle 61,734 claims of Blackshield, unquote. So, Chairman, the position of the petitioners is that government was approached to assist. Government came to Parliament, requested appropriation to be able to do that. Parliament approved the appropriation, and there was partial payment to the petitioners, the outstanding payment hasn't been paid, and all effort to get the liquidators to pay the outstanding payment has met stumbling blocks. And they have been told by the SEC that the reason why the outstanding payments are not being made is because there is a case in court, because Blackshield challenged the winding up application and the liquidation application of the liquidator in court. I have checked, it is true that Blackshield challenged the liquidation application. The petition was contested. The matter is still in court. But in spite of that, they went ahead, secured the records, got Yoko to assist them get the server, which enabled them to access the details of the investors. And then they determined the amounts, and then they paid. And in fact, all those whose investments were below 50,000 have all been fully paid. It is only those whose investments are above 50,000 that haven't been fully paid. And so if the argument is that the matter was in court, then what was the basis for paying over 73,000 other claimants? So the argument that the matter is in court hasn't stopped you from paying over 73,000 claimants. So why are you discriminating against those who invested higher amounts and resolving the issues of those who invested, lesser amounts? So we don't think there's really any basis for them not to pay the investor. That is why they petitioned Parliament. Since Parliament is the body that approved the appropriation, why would Parliament sit by and allow them, after they've taken the money, to refuse to pay the investors? So, Chairman, that is the basis for our petition, and that is why we are here.
Thank you, Honorable Ayaga. Do any of the petitioners want to add anything?
They say the matter should remain the way that I have presented it.
Thank you. Just let me start by asking a few questions. And also, let me just say that we're not restricting members the number of questions they can ask. They can come back and ask again. You notice that the Speaker and his wisdom did not set up a very large committee, so luckily we have quite a bit of time. You refer to Gold Coast Management. Gold Coast Management. What is the nature of Gold Coast Management? What kind of legal entity is it? Just for the record, I mean.
Just an asset management company, licensed by SEC.
So it's a limited liability company?
Yes.
So why do you refer to Blackshield as limited and Gold Coast Management? You don't add any prefix to it. Is there any reason? Were they trading under the name of and style of Gold Coast Management? I just want to know. Or we should add limited for the avoidance of doubt.
It is there. I think I've been reading what the official records have been capturing. Okay. But registrar is here.
Well, are you chairing the committee now? You move from petitioner to chairman. You are inviting the registrar to speak. So it's Gold Coast Management Limited. It's a limited liability company. Okay. Fund Management Limited. Okay. Fund Management Limited. I think that for me,
Honorable Ayariga, can you lead us into what necessitated a change of name?
Should we? He was saying that, are we going to finish him as a president?
My understanding, Chairman, is that it is...
Excuse me, 1 minute, please. I'm just... Okay, Honorable Ayaga. Honorable. Oh, answer. But I admit the question. You can answer this.
You've admitted the question?
Yes.
Okay. So this was just a rebranding exercise by Gold Coast Fund Management. And they did so. Security and Exchange Commission itself reports that the SEC has Blackshield Capital Management Limited, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, Blackshield, was incorporated on the 12th August 1993 prior to the passage of the Act and was licensed by the Commission on 12 August 2013. On 11 July 2019, the firm changed
Securities and Exchange Commission part of it is 3.6 billion. Am I right?
5.5. Chairman.
From what you've told us now, the Securities and Exchange part of it is 3. How much is it? 3.1 billion.
At that point.
Yes.
But then let's now go to the 2021 budget.
Okay.
The 2021 budget.
Page.
So if you go to the 2021 budget.
Page, please.
Page, what's the page?
Page 115. It's there. Page 115. You see the 2021 is here. Page 115. They have it as well.
So they have
page 115.
115.
Yes. It's here. Allocation of 5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
141. It's page 115.
Page number. So they don't
Is
have
the
it.
allocation of 5 and approval of 5.5 billion.
Yes. But that page, we can't, that's not, for where is it in the
Okay,
the budget,
okay.
the budget, 2021 budget, here. This is the 2021
It's here. 141.
141. Page 141, yes. So if you go to page 141, column 92, it says that, Mr. Speaker, I am happy to announce that the resolution of the banking industry has been completed. Government has been working to complete the bailout of the asset management industry through the provision of a bailout package for investors of the failed asset management companies. Out of an estimated amount of 8.5 billion to help pay investors of the failed asset management companies, this August House approved an amount of 3.1 billion in the 2020 mid-year budget. So it is from here that we get to know that the total amount for asset management companies is 8.5 billion. And that in the 2020 budget, 3.1 billion was approved by Parliament. So he then goes to further to request additional, allocation of money. But even reports that even though we approved 3.1 billion, they actually spent 3.4 billion. So he says at the end of December 2020, government had provided an amount of 3.4 billion. So even though we approved 3.1 billion, government went ahead to provide 3.4 billion for the payment of validated claims to investors of 30 asset management companies for which liquidation orders were obtained. This amount was in a combination of a 3-year marketable bond of 2.5 billion and a 5-year zero-coupon bond of 915 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, for the Securities and Exchange Commission to fully settle investors of the remaining 17 asset management companies, an amount of 5.5 billion is required. For this reason, we have come to this August House once again to seek for your approval to raise an amount of 5.5 billion in 2021 to complete the asset management industry bailout, including Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, now Blackshield Capital Management. So if you put the figures together, you actually get 27.1.
But even the 27.1 is not too necessary. If you add the 3.1 to the 5.5, you get 8.6. That's your argument. Yes. But Mr. Yaga, why do you want to confuse us? Just make it simple like that. I know you are a very simple man, so thank you. Now let me ask you a question. Where is the evidence that the 5.5 was paid? I know it's been allocated, or it was released by Ministry of Finance.
Yes. A number of documents. First is the Securities and Exchange Commission itself. In the earlier document, their press release that I cited, the one signed on March 30, 2023, they indicated that at that time they had received some of the money. And then the finance minister himself in his final report on the economy, indicated that page 167.
Let help us to help you. We want the chronology of events. Give us a date. The first date was that they said they gave 3.1. You allocated, Parliament approved 3.1. What date was it?
The budget itself was 23rd July 2020. Then the mid-year, the mid-year was 23rd July 2020. Then the 2021 budget was on 12 March 2021.
So on 12 March
2021.
They were confirming that what you asked for, we've given it to them.
In fact, they've even gotten more than what
they've gotten 3.4.
3.4 instead of 3.1.
Yes.
And then they were asking for a further 5.5.
Yes.
Okay. Then
we moved to what year again?
Pardon?
We moved to what year again?
Then we moved to the press statement of Minister of Finance, Thursday, 24th March 2022.
Where they say what?
Where he indicates that they have completed the exercise, restructured the banking sector to protect the savings of 4.6 million depositors and strengthen the financial sector. So far, government has spent over 25 billion since 2018 to clean up the financial sector.
Not the financial sector, meaning everything.
Everything, including asset management companies.
But subsequently, they show that they are not completed the asset management. That's why they were requesting for more money.
No, at that point, they indicated that the banking sector, theirs was 18.6 billion.
Yes.
And then the asset management companies is 8.6 billion.
So after they asked for this amount, I'm sorry, I just want clarity. Yes, okay. After they said this statement, then they came back to Parliament to ask for another 5.6? Or the 5.6 was before this? That's why I asked for...
The 5.6 they were asking for after reporting on the fact that they had completed the banking sector 18.5 or 6, 18.6, and then they had made part payment for the asset management company.
That is the point. So let us leave the banking sector money out.
Yes.
And let us focus on ours. I just want to get clarity.
Yes.
Forget about the 18 million. As far as we are concerned, when I say we, of course, we identify with, I must put on record that I don't have any deposits with Gold Coast. I'm using we in a manner to show that this is the house of the people. The amount is 8.6. The people come to Parliament and ask for 3.1.
Yeah.
They are giving 3.4. Then they come back subsequently to ask for 5.5. So I'm asking you that you have shown us that they asked for 3.1, they got 3.4 by documentation. Nobody can argue with that. They themselves have said it. The 5.5, show us where it shows that they received the 5.5.
Well, the point is that, one, Mr. Chairman, they have not stated anywhere that they haven't received the 5.5. The finance minister has not reported that he hasn't received the 5.5. But he has reported that overall he has spent 25 billion. So over 25 billion. So if the banking sector figure is 18.6 billion, then we can conclude that if he has received over 25 billion, which could be 27.1 billion, which is the total of both the banking sector figure and the asset management figure, we can conclude, unless he comes to say that no, I didn't receive the entire amount. But that's not what the petitioners have been told. The petitioners have been told that the reason why they are not being paid their money is because there is a case in court. They are not being told that they haven't been given the money. They are saying that there's a case in court, and because there's a case in court, they will not be paid the money until that matter is resolved. They haven't said that they haven't received the money.
I'm not, of course, I'll let you, but let me just say, No, let me make it clear that we'll be meeting with finance. So we're asking you these questions, so when finance comes to us, we know what questions to ask them. But Honorable Nilan Tebanape wants to ask some questions.
Counsel for Petitioners. Can we reference your document, page 185?
Chairman.
Concerns of clients of Blackshield / Gold Coast.
Yes.
Let's go to paragraph A.
Paragraph A, yes, I've seen the paragraph
A. Can we avert ourselves to the content of that paragraph? The SEC has noted comments by representative of Blackshield / Gold Coast clients for the disbursement of the 5.5 billion Ghana cedis approved by Parliament, and wishes to clarify that the amount approved by Parliament was for all investors of the 47 companies that had claims by investors and not for Blackshield Gold Coast investors only. All investors with validated claims have therefore been contacted by the Amalgamated Fund and the GCB Capital Limited, the entities managing the implementation of the bailout. The government has yet to release the full 5.5 billion to the implementing agencies of the bailout. Does it go to substantiate what Chairman said earlier on, that possibly, even though Parliament approved the said amount, government did not release all the amount to the liquidator?
But you see, the further report that the update received by SEC from the implementing agencies of the bailout is that so far 4.6 billion has been allocated. Okay? So if anything at all, our calculations should be the difference between 4.6 billion and then 5.5 billion.
That is 1 billion.
That's 1 billion. And that was as far back as March 30th, 2023. Today we are in 2024, February. We don't know what has transpired since then. It is possible that after this report, further disbursements went to SEC, and so they would have received the entire amount as we speak. But if anything at all, we're expecting that if they received the 4.6 billion, then they should have spread that evenly among all depositors. But as it is, all other depositors have been paid except Blackshield depositors. Yes.
Further on the same paragraph, you see a breakdown. It said that the total amount paid to Blackshield clients in the partial bailout is 1.34 billion, covering a total of 73.541 claims. Out of this amount, a total amount of 757 million has been used to fully settle 61,374 claims of Blackshield. Can we know, have you been able to know how much was paid to those who receive from 1 cedi to 50,000 in total for Blackshield, and how much is outstanding for those who had more than 50,000 invested in the Blackshields?
Yeah, if you read that same report, page 185 to 186, the SEC reported that these disbursements include the partial bailout program, which entailed the payment of a sum of up to 50,000 Ghana cedis to clients of Blackshield Gold Coast and then other companies who had not received winding up orders from the court by October 2020. but whose claims had been validated. The total amount paid to Blackshield clients is the partial bailout. In the partial bailout is 1.34 billion, covering a total of 73,541 claims. Out of this amount, a total amount of 757,539,141 has been used to fully settle 61 claims of Blackshield. So if you do the mathematics, Mr. Chairman, you will see that per our calculation, the amount that will be outstanding in terms of payment to SEC by government will be about 1 billion, okay? Will be about 1 billion if you deduct the 4.6 from the 5.5 billion. And in the case of Blackshield, so far, the only amount that they have been paid is only 1.34 billion, okay? And yet, the entire amount owed to Blackshield is almost 5 billion. So it means that even assuming, without admitting, that government only released 4.6 billion instead of 5.5 billion, at least 3-point-something billion ought to be paid to Blackshield customers. And then there will be an outstanding 1 billion to Blackshield customers.
But the understanding here is that the 5-point-something billion was not meant for only customers of Blackshield.
You remember that there's an earlier 3.4 billion that has been released. 3.4 billion. 3.1 was requested, and then 3.4 was actually released. So that would have settled so many other, asset management companies.
That was meant for all the 47.
All of them, yes. And then the additional 5.5 was for the rest of the asset management companies, including Blackshield. So if you add what Blackshield, customers are owed, plus all the others, it should make up the 8.6 billion that is meant for asset management companies. So if you have received almost everything less 1 billion, then at least that should be reflected in the payments made to Blackshield depositors.
Chair, I want to also ask this question. Council, the page 184, the second paragraph, the SEC acting within the mandate of protecting investors and the integrity of the security market wishes to update the general and investment public of the status of bailout implementation programs. It means they have a mandate of protecting investors and the general public and their integrity. Listening to what you are saying, it seems to me you are making a lot of assumptions. Do you have any corresponding between you and SEC in terms of whatever is transpiring, instead of just relying on Ministry of Finance and the government press releases?
Chairman, in this instance, we're relying on SEC's own press release. This is not Ministry of Finance. This is SEC speaking. This report is actually being presented by SEC. They are the ones who have reported that they have received 4.6 billion, and then, they have paid Blackshield depositors a total of 1.3 billion. So it's actually SEC's own report we are relying on. So we're not making assumptions at all.
Okay, so Ministry of Finance is giving different information that they've paid. SEC is also giving another, but your organization that you are representing, don't they have any direct corresponding between them and SEC? Do they have something like that?
Chair, please, my name is Charles Nyami. We've had...
Your name once.
Okay, thank you.
We have noted you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We've had couples of meetings with Securities and Exchange Commission and the Finance Ministry. Even the last one was dated on the 27th of November 2023.
Is it written or verbal? Do you have records of those things, those meetings?
We don't have records, but they should. The meeting was called at their instance. And it was an abrupt meeting. We went to the finance ministry for a protest and were invited in for a meeting.
Meaning you didn't go with your counsel, you just went
Not
alone
at
and
all.
you don't have any records to that effect?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Estimation, how much is left for you to be paid?
According to the meeting that we had with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Finance Ministry dated on the 12th of October 2023, we asked this question, that what was the total investment portfolio for Gold Coast Fund Management, and we were told a figure which is close to 5 billion, a little to 5 billion, and we inquire how much left.
5 million what?
5 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So if we deduct the 1.3 billion which has been paid to Gold Coast clients, we should arrive at something around 3 billion Ghana cedis left to be paid to Gold Coast Fund Management customers.
Okay. But the people who were paid the 50,000 are not part of this 61,000 group, are they?
They are part of it.
Some of them are part of it. Those who have more than 50,000.
Yes, they are part of it.
Okay. Now, how many people are we talking about here?
For our estimation, according to the records of Securities and Exchange Commission, when validation of claims were filed, we were told that the total investment claims that they received from clients of Gold Coast Fund Management was over 100,000 claims. This is individual claims that we are talking about. And according to the report that Securities and Exchange Commission gave in their press statement dated March 28, 61,000, little over 61,000 have been paid off. So we are looking at people around, the numbers around 50,000.
The Chairman, it cannot be a little over 61,000. Let's say almost 62,000 because it's 61.7.
Okay. A little, let's say almost 62,000 have been paid. And if that is the case, then we are looking at something around 50,000 customers remain.
Honorable, yes.
For the records, what SEC has put out there is that the claims that have been verified, according to them, which is captured in their statement, is 73,541. Even though there are many depositors who have not had the opportunity to put in a claim because the window that was created for submission of claims was short and it was electronic, and many people in the rural parts of the country could not submit their claims. So one of the demands of the association is for SEC to create a window for those who are not able to submit their claims to also submit their claims, so that SEC will have a fuller picture of the total number of claimants.
Honorable, is this part of your petition?
It is not part of our petition to Parliament.
Thank you. Honorable, let us restrict ourselves to your petition. If you had added it, then we could have considered it. I want to assure you that your petition, I know it's quite a bit, because I read it, so please.
I kept it very simple, just 2 pages, so I'm sure you have memorized it.
Yeah. Chair, I don't know whether you permit me to ask a question on what he said about that same thing. Because...
The last...
Yeah, in terms of others who were not captured. No. Okay.
It's not part of our results.
Okay.
Chairman, let me ask, we have 2 issues here. People putting claims that have been validated or just claims. I want to know, out of the number of people you mentioned, out of the 70-something thousand from Securities and Exchange Commission,
So, Chairman, if you read the last paragraph of page 185, it provides a response. This disbursement includes the partial bailout program, which entailed the payment of a sum of up to 50,000 Ghana cedis to clients of Blackshield, Gold Coast, and other companies who had not received winding up orders from the court by October 2020, but whose claims had been validated. So the 73,541 claims were claims that had been validated.
And you are not sure about the number that has not been validated?
Yes, because there are people who haven't submitted a claim at all, and there's still some dispute between Blackshield and then SEC about the total number of claimants, and they got Yoko to go and take the server, and Blackshield, presumes that from the server they would have gotten the total list of claimants, but there's some dispute regarding that.
The reason I'm asking, from Mr. Yeboah's presentation, he mentioned a figure of almost 100 and something thousand claimants. You understand? And out of the validated report, we're talking about 73,000. Okay. And out of those who have been paid, you're talking about 61 or almost 62,000. So the disparity in the numbers is key for us to be able to identify those who have really not been covered, or those who have been validated but not paid, or those who have not been validated at all. We should be able to know all those figures.
Yeah, Honorable, please, the 73,000, okay, the 73,541 customers captured here are referring to those who subscribed to the partial bailout process. There are a number of customers who felt that the amount of money that they have in there, 50,000, is not enough. So though they have been validated, their claims have been validated, but they did not subscribe to the partial bailout. So this number here is referring to numbers of customers who subscribed to the partial bailout process to receive the tier 1 payment, not the validated numbers.
Petition, let me help you. Let me see whether I understand what you're saying. You represent, the group you represent is a voluntary association.
Yes, sir.
You haven't compelled anybody to join.
Yes, please.
And it is those who belong to the category of people who are aggrieved by the failure of Blackshields to pay their money. Those who want to join are those who have joined.
Yes, please.
I'm correct?
Yes, please.
And those are the people who, led by you and 4 others, asked Honorable Hassan Ayaga to come to Parliament.
Yes, please.
And so for us to talk about the other people, they are not before us.
Yes, please.
Technically.
Yes, please.
You agree with me?
Yes, please.
If you are successful, then maybe they will, on the basis of your success, also come in. But now, you agree that we should restrict ourselves to just those of you who are before us.
Yes, please.
Because that is what we know.
Yes, please.
Do you agree with me?
I do, sir.
I'm seeking your.
But sir,
yes.
Okay.
First petitioner, speak. Don't be afraid. I'm not. Don't worry. Speak. Don't.
I'm here to be guided by my counsel. So.
Yes.
Is he appearing before you as your counsel? No, because as far as I'm concerned,
I'm a member of Parliament.
Yes, he's appearing
Yes.
as this
facilitator of petitions.
Yes, not counsel.
Yeah, but Chairman, I mean, yes, they are here as petitioners. The entire association could not have been listed to sign the petition, so they are in a representative capacity. But like you rightly pointed out, if the principle is accepted and the appropriate directive given, every other person who falls in the category stands to benefit.
Don't let us waste time on that one.
Mr. Chairman, permit me to ask, so for now, as we sit here today, we're talking about claims out of 73,541, of which almost 62,000 have been satisfied. Is that not it? Is that not it?
I didn't get the question.
What I'm saying is that out of 73,541, 62, almost 62,000, 61,734 have been satisfied.
Well, yes. Let me answer that. From the report of SEC, the claims they have total 73,541.
Please, when you finish speaking, turn off your mic. Thank you.
The claims that are before them, as at the time they were reporting in 2023 March, was 73,541.
And you are sure those are validated claims?
The earlier paragraph indicated that they are validated claims.
Okay.
Then they are saying that out of this number, a total of 757,539,141 has been used to fully settle 61,734 claims of Blackshield. But don't forget that
that
they
one
are
is only from 1 cedi to 50,000.
Exactly, from 1 cedi to 50,000.
So the 757 million accounted for those who claims were between 1 cedi and 50,000.
Exactly.
The presumption is that any other extra amount that, according to the SEC, amounts to the validated claims of the rest are those whose investment was from 51,000 upwards.
So the difference between 61,734 and 71,541, we can presume that they are all above 50,000 Ghana cedis claims.
I think he meant 50,000 1 cedi, not 51,000.
No, 50,000 1 cedis, yes.
50,000 1 cedi.
50,000 1 cedi.
Yes, if you are above 50,000 by 1 cedi, then you are out of the payment that was made. That's my understanding. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you repeat your question, Chairman? Can you repeat your question?
The limit for the first payment was 50,000. Am I right? My colleague here said 51,000, but I said that I think he meant 50,000 1 cedi.
Yes, 50,000 1 cedi. Anything above 50,000,
yes,
which would be 50,000 1 cedis.
Yes.
Or even 50,000 2 pesos.
Or 50,000 1 peso.
Exactly.
Why are you saying two?
Chair, thank you. Per Council. Okay. He is a lawyer. So, but he's not representing them as a council. Okay. So, what you said, you are assuming that the money has been paid, but it's locked up because somebody wants to investigate or want to finish the court case before they can give to them. But what you also presented is as part of your plea to Parliament. One, you said the Honourable Parliament should investigate and establish what has accounted for the government failure to pay the customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management. Up to this stage, do you believe the government has paid and somebody has locked the money somewhere, or Parliament should still investigate why government has failed to pay it?
That is because we consider the liquidator as part of a government agency. So that's why we say why government hasn't paid. But technically, it is the liquidator and then SEC.
Thank you very much, sir.
Asking is that, to the best of your information and belief, the money has been released to SEC and the liquidator, and they don't want to pay. They are refusing to pay or neglecting or failing to pay. That's the question he's asking.
Yeah, that's our position, because we have the Minister of Finance report that he has spent the money. So we're assuming that he sent the money to the relevant agency. We also have SEC admitting that 4.6 billion has come to them. So it means that they got some of the money at the time that they were reporting on it. So money was released.
I agree that money was released, but still, Honorable, I just want to sleep well tonight. 4.6 billion is not 8.6 billion. Or you added it to the previous 3.1 billion. What is your... Because at a certain point...
Yeah, the 8.6
yes,
is the total
I agree.
of monies owed to all asset management companies. All, not just Blackshield, all asset management companies. Then 3.1 was authorized by Parliament, but the government released 3.4. Then government came back to Parliament and said, look, we need an additional 5.5 to finish with all of them, including Blackshield. And Parliament approved the 5.5. And then SEC then reports that of the 5.5 approved by Parliament, because the 3.5 has already been spent paying, depositors. So what is left to be paid is the 5.5. And SEC admits that out of the 5.5, 4.6 has been given to them. But it is not only for Blackshield, but for all of them. So that is how come we are strong in our conviction that either all of the 5.5 or a significant chunk of the 5.5 has been released. And if a significant chunk of the 5.5 has been released, it should be reflected as well in the payments to the depositors of Blackshield.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ayaga. I think at this stage of your strength, you say you are strong in your belief. At the highest point of your submission, I think I must ask you to be discharged for the time being. Like I said in the beginning, we are operating quite a flexible system, and we seek to arrive at the truth. So I ask that you don't leave us, because if we want to call you to give more evidence, we call you to give more evidence, because we have more information, we will not hesitate to do so. You know that in parliamentary proceedings, you are not allowed to cross-examine each other. So we will do the cross-examination for you based on what we hear. So, Honorable Ayaga and the 5 petitioners, thank you very much, and you are discharged. For the time being. Then we now invite the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the Registrar General. I think you submitted one document, the Register of Companies, sorry. You are now the Register of Companies. We invite you, both of you, to swear in and decide among yourselves who will speak first. So please, go and sit there. And please, you are from Registrar. So please go to that side near your people and let Honorable Ayaga and his team come to this side. But
I,
Daniel Ogbami Tete,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Can you introduce yourself, please, from the most senior to the most junior?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My name is Reverend Daniel Ogbami Tete, Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Deborah Mause Ajimfa, Deputy Director General Legal of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ni Oman Badu, Head of Legal at the SEC.
Mr. Chair, I'm Mrs. Jemima Mama Owari, Registrar of Companies and Official Liquidator of Blackshield.
Mr. Chair, I'm Kofi Bekai, Lawyer for Official Liquidator and Registrar of Companies.
Augustina Mills, PwC Consultant to SEC and ORC.
John Fifi Ewo, PwC Consultant to SEC and ORC.
Thank you. All welcome. Reverend Ogbami Tete, can you tell us what SEC is, what you do in a nutshell, and what you know about this matter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The Securities and Exchange Commission is one of the 4 regulators in the financial sector with responsibility for the securities industry. The core of our mandate is to see to the growth and development of an efficient, fair, and transparent securities industry where investors and the integrity of the market are protected. So we do this, or we execute this mandate through a number of things, including licensing market operators, monitoring market operators to be sure they are delivering on their mandate, and where necessary, we revoke the license or we apply the necessary sanctions. We approve issuances to the public. Here I'm talking about equity issuances and then debt issuances. And we also supervise all the market operators that we have licensed, again, to be sure that they are playing by the rules. We also advise the Finance Ministry from time to time on various issues that border on the development of the securities industry. So, Mr. Chairman, that's in brief the mandate of the SEC. And what we know about the case.
If I can stop you. So a letter was written to you inviting you to this meeting on the committee. And at the same time, you are asked to respond to some questions. Am I right?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
And you submitted a document.
Yes, please.
Yes. Do you have a copy of the document?
Yes, please.
Would you want to tender it to make it part of the record? Mention the title and say, I wish to tender this document.
So, Mr. Chairman, the title of the document is Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC Ghana, response to petition by customers of Defunct Gold Coast Fund Management pursuant to Part 11, Order 76, 1 and 3, and Appendix A of Standing Orders of Parliament.
Am I correct? I assume that there was also a letter. You also wrote a letter. You just didn't bring this.
Yes, please. The cover letter I have a copy of the cover letter dated.
Tender it at all.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So the letter is dated 24th January 2024 and is addressed to Honorable Jogate MP, Chairman of the Special Committee, Parliamentary Service, Parliament House. And the heading of the letter is Inquiry into Petition by Customers of the Defunct Blackshield Capital Limited, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The letter will be marked as Exhibit SEC 1, and the response will be marked as Exhibit SEC 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Now, in this response that you gave specific answers to specific questions. Am I right?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to take you through. Sorry, you have a copy. First of all, I'm going. A second, please. Have you? So, Mr. Ogbamitete, I'm going to ask you, first of all, to tell us in brief, 5 sentences or something, why you're here. Then I'll take you through the questions they asked you, so I respond one by one. Brief, because you go to have the. I'm going to ask you all the questions. So briefly, why are we here? In your view?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are here to provide an update on the revocation exercise we conducted and then the implementation of the bailout for the affected clients of all the companies, including Blackshield Company Limited. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Now, the petition is on behalf of the individual Ghanaian citizens numbering over 61,000. Customers of Blackshield Capital Limited, hitherto known as Gold Coast Fund Management, owned by Dr. Papa Kwesi. Is that a correct statement?
Mr. Chairman, because of the bailout that has been rolled out, that statement is not accurate. The total number of claims filed by affected customers of Gold Coast Fund Management or Blackshield is as at the 4th of January. And I say 4th of January because on a continuing basis, claims are being filed and received by the official liquidator. But as at January 4th, the total number of claims filed is 89,632. That's the total number of claims that have been filed by affected customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, now Blackshield. Mr. Chairman, the bailout that was rolled out in 2020 fully paid over 61,000 of the affected clients. So if you do the math, if you take over 61,062, however you put it, out of the 89, you're really talking about 28,000 investors who still have monies yet to be paid under the bailout program. So the petition cannot be for over 61,000 claimants as we found in the petition. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, remember, we will note there's a question. Mr. Reverend.
Yes, please, Mr. Chair.
Reverend, even the first statement you made, a number of questions have arisen. But I don't want to disturb your flow. So I'm pleading with my members to note the questions down. So when you finish, then they ask. Please.
I will accept chairman's this thing because he's my senior colleague, and I will not, because I will have wished to interrogate the questions one by one, the answers provided one by one.
What do you think? Listen, if you are not, in this world that we are in, if you are not capable of changing your mind, then there's something wrong with you. I've been convinced, understanding others is the chairman who should rule on these matters. But I've been convinced by my people. I'm outnumbered. All three of them seem to be against me. So by the force of the argument, we'll do it one by one. So, and hopefully, as I said, by the time you finish giving all your evidence, if we ask you questions based on each point you make, they would have finished discussing the issue. So, Honorable Neil Antivanaba will ask you a question on the numbers of claimants.
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask Reverend Ogbame, are you aware of this, your press release dated, is it the date? Let me rather use. No, I would rather prefer reference number SEC/PR/001/03/2023.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman. It's a press release that we issued.
Okay. Can I send you to page 3 of that press release? Yeah. Page 2 and 3 of that press release. In the book, 185, page 185. 185, 186.
Yes.
Yeah. Your press release says that the update received by SEC from the implementing agencies in the bailout is that so far 4.6 billion has been allocated as follows. But I want to take you straight to the last paragraph of that. It said the total amount paid to Blackshield clients in the partial bailout is 1.34, covering a total of 73,541 claims. After this amount, a total amount of 757
GTV, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana. Up next,